Let's see if we're live here. Is it working? I should actually probably oh boy. Oh, oh Lord. Probably move over here. I'm just gonna wait. I'm gonna wait until someone shows up because I don't want this to be one of those cases where I go into a big rant about something or I get in the middle of explaining a story and then there's no one here around to see what the story is, so I'm just gonna wait until more people show up. Oh, there's one viewer. Two viewers. Yay. Um, okay. So I feel like I should get into this to get into explaining basically the new information that's been levied upon me that I've been exposed to. Oh, C's in the chat. He says hello. Okay. So I want to explain this is that the main way that I had planned on financing school was through was through getting a good enough credit, right? Going through the motions of working a job, working until the point that I could get a good credit score to get a pretty hefty loan and just do it by myself. But if you get a cosigner on the loan, then you don't have to do all of that. You just get the loan and then you go to wherever it is that you're going and go to school. Um, the problem is that I've never been able to find a cosigner to get the loan, right? I've never been able to have someone who would say, "Okay, I'm willing to basically act as collateral on this loan to help you go to school." However, my mom had always told me that I had to get a practical career. I had to get a career she approved of if she was going to help me, in my quest for education, right? And so I had a conversation with her today, and I talked about all of it, and we basically came to the agreement, the tentative agreement, to send me to school in Japan, to study to take the JLPT, Japanese language proficiency test, and to start working over there. And then eventually build up a big enough portfolio of work to become a Japanese translator. Now, I've already been studying Japanese, so I know the very basics as well as some, upper to mid stuff. So I already have a foundation. I already have the foundation of the language. So it's not like going to Vietnam where it's a totally new thing. Not to say that I was entirely opposed to that in the first place, but now that I have someone who can co-sign on it to make it to where I can just literally leave the country right away to go to school, that's really awesome. That's really, really awesome that now that like, okay, I do have someone who's willing to actually sponsor this and who's willing to actually help me, in this endeavor. Whereas with before, I had to sort of figure out on my own how I was going to do it. Um, and the problem with that is that I would have to work for a pretty long amount of time to and spend a lot of time building up a credit score to be able to do the loan myself. And so this is just much, much faster. And the only difference is that I could not choose to go to Vietnam. That was the main thing, is because her train of thought was that Vietnam is really dangerous and this job isn't going to make as much money and all this other stuff. And so Japan just seemed like the safer option. It seemed like the option that she was more willing to agree to. And so we talked about it for a long, long amount of time. And then eventually we came to the conclusion that, okay, we're fine with doing that. Main reason I wanted to bring this up in a live stream is because I did that Star 2020 video, and I wanted to clarify this uh, because in that video I basically said, yeah, guys, I'm going to Vietnam and all this other stuff. But the thing is that choice was sort of made out of necessity, and it was also like that was the one that I wanted personally to do the most. That was the place that I wanted to go to first. But this is a great deal right here because I don't have to, I don't have to sit there and work really, really hard all this time just to, to go to a place for the sake of it being cheap, you know? Like Vietnam's a really cool place and I want to go there. I want to learn their language and stuff. But if I can choose to go to school in Japan first, then I'm obviously going to do that. And so now that my mom has agreed to basically co-sign on it, I can do that. And so I thought that's really, really awesome. Uh, and Japanese proficiency, here I come, I guess. So yeah, my dog is also here, but that was basically like the basics of what was going on. Is that she had always told me, I want you to be like a doctor, or I want you to be a lawyer, or these types of things. I would be more comfortable putting my money into a venture like that. But I convinced her the viability of this job economically. I convinced her of, I convinced her of how safe the place was, and how good it would be for me to do it. And thankfully, my efforts were rewarded. This is a light. I don't want to put it in his eyes because I don't want to put it in his eyes because it's bad for dogs. I don't know actually why I turned the light on. I'm gonna turn it off now. If you guys have any questions in the chat, or like stuff you guys want to talk about, I'd be totally open to hearing it. Look at this. He's such a good boy. Um, but I actually don't know what else I'm gonna talk about in this live stream. I literally made this with the intention of at least I gotta get it to 10 minutes. Come on. But I just sort of made this with the intention of clarifying the thing that I got wrong in that other video, because literally this conversation was like a conversation I had, you know, today. Uh, is getting a loan currently planning on getting more than the loan from the 2020 plan? No, I'm not going to be getting more money than that. The the loan. So okay, let me break this down. Oh, I don't want to have to pull out the browser on my phone. Let me basically break this down as that the money that the estimate that I had made to go to Vietnam is basically the same as the estimate that it would cost to go to Japan. The interesting thing is that a lot of the places to rent in Japan, from what I've found at least, from all of the listings that I've looked at, and these tend to be pretty honest, reputable listings, the rent by and large has actually looked cheaper. It's actually looked cheaper in Osaka, which is where I would be studying. Um, than to live in Vietnam, which Vietnam's supposed to be a very cheap country and stuff, but apparently a lot of studio apartments are very, very cheap in Japan. And people, you get things like 200, 150, $300 a month, and these are really good prices. But like, people tend to complain about small space, right? They don't want a place that has really small space because they don't like the fact that living in a small space doesn't allow them to properly fulfill their desires or something. But for me, my desire is the smallness. Like, I like living in a really small, excuse me. I like living in a really small, compacted place. Um, so yeah, let me break this down, show you exactly what the tuition would be. I forgot the exact, I believe it was like, what was it, like 15,000, something like that? Let me find it. I need to find the costs because my mind is like slipping at the moment, and I can't remember exactly what it was. But yeah, it would cost basically the same. Is so the amount wasn't changing. It was just the fact that I actually have a cosigner now who's willing to, actually help, which is pretty cool, I think. Uh, my dog is jumping. Well, you know what the funny thing was? You know what the funny thing was is that she had mentioned to me a coworker of mine worked in South Korea, and he said that your son should work in South Korea because it's safe there and stuff. I thought, okay, that's kind of interesting. The dog is like trying to like put the wire around himself right now. I don't know what he's doing, but that's what she told me is that she told me a coworker of hers said that I should work in South Korea because it pays a lot of money or something. That if I can pick up Japanese easily, that I would be able to pick up Korean. And like she told me that the guy was like emphatically sure that Korean was really easy. Is that he like because he had lived there and he was just gushing over just how easy Korean was, and I was like, wow, that's interesting. I mean, when I was trying to learn it, it wasn't that hard. So I don't know. Apparently, apparently it's pretty easy according to that guy, but she had suggested to me, oh, I could just pay for you to go to school in South Korea and then you could learn Korean. And I thought, well, the rent there is really high and it's that isn't really the place that I would like want to study in. Maybe I'll take that offer if I change my mind, but I doubt I will. Like the only thing that made me change my mind on this one was just it was a matter of approval, what I was approved to do. And I think getting that cosign is much, much more important than like making this weird decision to go to Vietnam. So yeah, it felt pretty good. It felt pretty good to get the approval on that. But it was I just thought it was funny she suggested for me to go to Korea because I mean, you can make a lot of money as a Korean translator, but like, I don't want to go there first. Uh, yeah, here, let me see here. Let me break down the numbers on this. Hmm. But the interesting thing is that like, the like it doesn't. People are so afraid of loans. Like, as long as you pay it on time, it's honestly not that bad. Like you pay, okay, I pay $300 a month on this. Okay, that's not that bad. As long as you're paying it consistently, who cares? Uh, see, so it was a million for. Okay, so this is the cost, right? This is the oh, dog. You're gonna have to move. Oh boy, he's got his leg wrapped around the phone. Uh, basically, it would cost. Okay, so for the actual cost, 1,664, right? So that's tuition, and then I did the calculations on okay, if I'm living in an apartment that's 300 a month, if I'm living in an apartment that's 300 a month, that would be 3,600. And so, roughly speaking, if you add these things together, and then you factor in like the costs of food, the cost of utilities and stuff, it would pretty much come out to the amount that I said, maybe 25K instead of 20K, just to have like extra like security money. But I did some of the calculations on how much food would cost and how much utilities would cost, and I think I could pretty much get by on that amount of money. Um, but yeah, that was most of what I was talking about. Hmm. But if any of you have any questions about Star's Vision 2020 plan, I would be interested to hear. But I'm so hyped about it. That's the thing, is that I'm so excited. I'm just so excited because, like, now, I have like a real cosigner who says, yes, you can do this Vision 2020 plan. You can do it. It's just that, you have to go to this specific place, and it just so happens that that specific place is really fucking dope. So I'm excited. I'm really, really excited because before I just had to do everything on my own, and I didn't have a cosigner. Um, so that's pretty cool. Oh, Molly Boom is in the chat now. Yeah, basically, to catch you up to speed here, basically I was just clarifying why the plan has changed, is that it's to go to Japan now instead of going to Vietnam because basically the cosigner that I got said that okay, you have to study in Japan specifically, and I go okay. Um, Yeah, I'm pretty excited about it, to be honest. I think it's going to be really cool. Sup, how's Ajax going? I've for the last like week I've been slacking a little bit more, but today I've been studying a bit more. Um, but yeah, like what I talked about on yesterday's stream was what was I saying? Oh, what I talked about on yesterday's stream was that um uh I lost it. I forgot what I was. Oh, yeah, yeah. That I was unmotivated and that I'm trying to like just push through the cycle of being unmotivated to make sure that, I actually, can get stuff done. And so basically I've just been in a cycle where I've just been unmotivated, and so I've been trying to push through it to study more each day. So I studied today. Um, but I need to get back to where I was before, where I was doing it every single day, and I was getting as much immersion as possible. I need to go back to that point, but I'm just sort of trying to build upon it. I have a question. What are you planning to do for your artistic needs? Like translating is a pretty non-artistic occupation. Are you going to continue developing your YouTube channel? Um, I don't think I'm ever going to quit my YouTube channel because I don't see a reason to quit the YouTube channel. The only thing that would make me quit is if I just ran out of ideas. So if I ever run out of ideas, I would probably quit, but I don't think I would ever quit permanently because there's always more things to talk about. And so because there's always more things to talk about, then there's no reason to, just give up on it when always more that I can do. I might take breaks, obviously, from YouTube to focus on more important things, but I don't think YouTube is just going to disappear. I think this is something that I'm always going to be doing because I like sharing the story, you know? If you watch my video, Being an Archive, I talk about how when I was 7 years old, I was gifted a camera by my grandmother at the time. And when I got that camera, I just constantly filmed everything, even the most mundane things I would always film. And so I've been doing this for the last 10 years. On YouTube, I've been doing it for the last 5 years. But on just in general, like with recording stuff, I've been doing that for 10 years. So I don't think I don't think I'm just gonna stop, because it's just so ingrained into my habits. I've been doing it for so long, and there's so much more to say. Like life is always changing. There's always new things that are developing to talk about. History marches forward, and as history marches forward, so do I. I may not be exactly the same person as I was, a few years ago, or a few years from now, I mean, excuse me. But I am going to still do this because I feel like doing this is just such an ingrained part of my identity. Like, I've been doing this all the time since, mid 2016. I'm literally constantly making videos ever since then. And it feels like brushing my teeth at this point. It's just something that I do. And like even when I was just making little fun videos on that camera, it became like something that I just did. I had an entire schedule for myself on which movies I was going to make. I had all these ideas that I would write out. I was constantly, constantly, constantly thinking about stuff that I could make because that was just my first instinct. Um, and so I don't think I'm ever gonna give up because I just love doing this. And especially because, like, as I continue doing it, at least I hope my subs don't go down, or I hope I don't get less viewers. But I feel like as I continue doing this and I get more and more ideas, like my audience is gonna grow. And so that opens up even more possibilities, even more people to talk to, even more people to share ideas with me. And like, it's just infinitely fascinating. There's always going to be more YouTube trends. There's always going to be more things happening, more things to say. So I don't think I would just give up. Your grandmother single-handedly turned you into an epic tuber. Yeah, I feel like it, to be honest. Like without her giving me that camera, I don't think I would have went down on the path that I'm on today. I mean, in 2013, when I was making the Minecraft videos, um, in 2013 when I was making the Minecraft videos, like that was something that just became so ingrained into me because I was making those Minecraft videos constantly, all the time. I was always trying to get a new Minecraft Let's Play out every single day. I was so obsessed with it, and they were terrible, terrible videos. They don't even exist anymore because at the time I was so ashamed of them that I just deleted all of them. But they're videos that were very fundamental to making me a YouTuber because, like, I would read the GameFAQs forums all the time, and I would see people discussing video games, and I wanted to discuss video games myself, so I made a channel where I talked about Minecraft, and then in 2015, I abandoned that channel in the very beginning of 2015, and then I made this channel where I started reviewing video games and making vlogs about video games. And then eventually I just turned it into like a personal life blogging channel. Well, first I turned it into an analysis channel. I made anime analysis videos, game analysis videos, this type of thing. But then eventually I just turned it into a full-on life blogging channel because I thought there wasn't a point to separating my channels into first and secondary channel because everyone was just going to watch the vlogs anyway. So I put them all here and my channel actually grew exponentially whenever I started vlogging here instead. Um, so, it's just been something that I've been doing all the time for so long that I can't ever see myself stopping it. Um, Liam in the chat says hello. Hey Liam, it's nice having you here. To catch you up to speed, basically, my mom told me she would co-sign on school for me, that she would co-sign on the loan for me to go to school. It was just the one condition is that it had to be a place she approved of. She didn't approve of Vietnam. She did, however, approve of Japan. So I'm gonna be a Japan boy now. Oh boy. Oh, yeah, I'm really really excited. I think it's gonna be great. Damn, congrats. Yeah, thank you. I appreciate it. It had me stoked because, you know, I woke up today in a pretty good mood. Like I wasn't in a bad mood the way that I was in yesterday. When I woke up today, I was in a pretty good mood. So, to be able to have that conversation with her and to convince her, to convince her to help, that was awesome. That was really, really awesome. Boy. Um, but yeah, it was adding all of the money up together. It seems like a pretty good venture, surprisingly enough. Um, I have to. One of the things that I'm gonna have to do first. I mean, I don't have to do this to get into the school. They don't really care. But one of the things that I feel like I should do before I go to Japan is get my GED. So I have to study for that. I have to get my GED because if I'm, going to get a worker's visa, and if I'm going to start working in Japan at like a shop or something, it's gonna be good to have that high school degree and to also have the JLPT 1, advanced proficiency and stuff. So that's mainly what I'm focusing on is just developing my own motivation to make sure that I do work on Japanese every day because I've had these weeks off that I take where I just don't do anything, and I need to stop having weeks off because every now and again I'll just be like, okay, I'm totally, I've been doing this too much. I just need to relax. And it's fine to have a day off, but like, I try to at least be immersed a little bit in the language each day, so it's not like I'm completely forgetting it. But I need to start being hardcore again, the way that I was a couple weeks ago, where I was just doing it literally constantly. So, um, cheers to studying more at home. But this specific school, in the 2 years that I would be spending there, they really tout this quite heavily. Is the idea that you can go from beginner to advanced. They say, the first 6 months you pass JLPT 4, and then and then after 2 years you pass JLPT 1. And I go, okay, that's a bit of a lofty that's a bit of a lofty advertisement that you're giving there. But I thought about it and I was like, okay, the fact that I would be studying all the time and I would be in the country exposed to the language all the time, of course you're going to learn it really fast. So like I'm already kind of trying to simulate that environment at home. But like when I'm actually there, there's going to be so many more opportunities to be able to use that knowledge in a practical sense. And so I'm really excited. I think it's going to be a fantastic opportunity. Um, it certainly gives me a lot more hope than I've normally had because, I get comments every now and again, and these don't really bother me, but I get comments that say, hey, Star, you're going to be a failure. You're going to fail in life and all this other stuff. And usually I just ignore it because I know it's not true. But, I have spent a lot of time thinking, man, I would have to work, I would have to wage grind my way through getting a proper credit score if I'm really going to finance this by myself. And I would not have a lot of time to do that. The clock would be ticking on how long I could actually spend here. Um, and so uh, that's really the thing. And so that conversation reaffirmed a lot of my hope. It just made a lot of things better, and I'm really excited. It's when the school year officially starts in either April or October, is that you can pick either one of those dates, and I turn 18 in April, so I would probably end up going with October. So that gives me a few months before to kind of prepare and make sure that I have all of my ducks in order and stuff like that. Maybe make some extra money on the side just to have there with me. Um, and so, yeah, that's what the future is looking like at the moment. Looking forward to Star's journey, Vision 2020. Here we go. It's only been slightly altered now, but I think I'm gonna head off of the stream now. I think I've clarified everything that I've meant to clarify. Um, Remember to avoid the Gaijin circle in Japan. Yeah, I don't wanna get into this, whole speaking English all the time with people because that defeats the point. That literally defeats the point is to if you're talking to just people who speak your language. Star vlog in Japan, I will. I330 says, I just got here, rip. Yeah, so to clarify, basically what I said, and I had to clarify this for a couple people, is that basically my mom said, yeah, I would be totally fine with co-signing a loan to have you go to school in another country. However, you can't go to school in Vietnam. You have to go to school in one of these other countries. And I said Japan, and so it was like, awesome, I can go to school in Japan. Um, can't go to school in Vietnam just because she's against it, and she's the co-signer, so she's in charge of the money. And I thought, well, Japan's a pretty fucking good deal, and so that's what I took. Um, and so yeah, it wasn't really my decision, but let me see here. That's the best news I've heard in a while, man. Congrats. Thank you. Yeah, no, I appreciate it. I appreciate the enthusiasm. It's certainly something I'm feeling. You gonna get bullied by yellow people. Yes, I'm so excited. It's gonna be so cool because like being able to have the actual cultural experience of being a white person who's not oppressed. I'm trying to think of the word, discriminated against. That's going to be so cool because I get to experience the actual, the real life the real life experience of racism. Like I feel like most people would be bothered by that, but I just think it's really cool because it's a cultural exchange. I would be able to firsthand get a better understanding of the culture right there, and I would be the target. I would be the example. Um, Good luck with your studies. Get that bread. Thank you. And everyone's saying haha in the chat. Waito America Jin. Hero Cowboy. Yes. I'm gonna not have people call me a Gaigoku Jin. I'm gonna be called a Gaijin. And then it's gonna be really rude. I feel like a lot of people don't know that is that the polite form of calling someone a foreigner is saying Gaigoku Jin. And so I feel like a lot of people don't know that, but you have these little differentiations on words in Japanese that make it polite or impolite. Is that the informal and very rude way of saying it is gaijin, and I mean that's the one everyone knows, but a lot of people don't know about gaigokujin. Um, Style your hair like Jesus and find a psycho Japanese Christianity community. That takes too much work. That would be pretty funny though if I became like the leader of a cult. That would be like a great vlog. Is that I've become a leader of a cult now, and now I rule over these people. That would be pretty funny. Star, I don't know how much of this will apply to you, but I think the change from being alone to everyday to needing to socialize every day is kind of radical. Maybe you should try that change a little bit smoother by trying to socialize beforehand in the US. Um, I don't know, like I think it depends because the reason that I don't socialize, the reason that I don't tend to socialize is just because I don't want to. Like I could easily choose to just socialize with people, but the reason that I don't is just because I don't want to. Like if I'm socializing with people in order to make money or in order to learn something that I care about, then that would mean I'm doing something with people that I like. Like having to put up with people who are annoying doesn't really bother me that much. They just kind of exist. And having to interact with people doesn't bother me. Like I don't have social anxiety or anything like that. Um, I just literally choose not to talk to people because I tend to not want to. Especially in America where most of the people here don't really have much to offer me. But if I'm in Japan, the thing that I would be offered would be language experience. So I would have every single motivation to talk to someone, even if they're completely boring and a normie. Like, it would be good practice. So it's not that I don't know how to talk to people. I know how to talk to people just fine. I just choose not to. Maybe you should try to make it smoother and change that a little bit by trying to socialize beforehand in the US. I mean, I could easily just talk to my own family or something, but like, it's not that I don't know how to do it. I know how to do it perfectly fine. A Japanese cult from the '90s made an anime. Oh yeah, yeah. I've heard of the show that you're talking about. I saw a pedantic romantic video about it. An anime from the '90s made a cult. Yes. I'm an anxious boy. I can't relate. Uh, yeah, but even if it's because you don't want to, the fact is that your lifestyle there is going to change radically from day one to another. I mean, that doesn't even bother me that much though. Like, I've had experiences in the past where my life changed totally radically, very, very fast. For example, when I was moving all around the country, I had to deal with totally different people, totally different settings. I was hopping from abuse shelters constantly. So when I lived in those abuse shelters, what I tend to had to do was deal with people who were very mentally ill, sometimes outright dangerous. I had to deal with fluctuating living conditions all the time, and it bothered me the first one or two times that it happened, but eventually I just didn't care. I was totally fine with the radical change all the time. I was totally fine with having to walk 6, 7 hours every single day to constantly look for a job while I was living in Maine. I was fine with, having to stand there and listen to my mom saying she was going to jump into the street and having to talk her down from suicide. I was fine with, having to constantly talk to people in food banks and, in these types of centers to get help for us when I had never done that before. Like beforehand, I had had experiences in school that I didn't like, and then I just stayed in my room all the time. Stayed in my room all the time to now being thrust into a world where I have to, beg churches for food and constantly look for a job. But I did fine, like I ran away from home, literally ran away from home to somewhere hundreds of miles away, by myself. And I adapted to that experience of being homeless as a minor totally fine. It didn't even faze me. I was not even remotely scared because I thought, well, if I die at any point here, I guess that's just what happens, and I didn't care. So, like, I've had so many experiences where my life changed way more radically than it would change just by going to another country. If I just went to another country, I feel like that would be a very moderate change in comparison to all the other stuff I've experienced, you know? Um, Star is going to have a harem of QT Japanese girls. I hope so, man. That would be the best vlog to make. Um, TFW no coin slot waifu harem. Yes. Um, get the real hikikomori experience. Yes, the Japanese hikikomori experience. I would have to not be in education to do that, which would defeat the point. Uh, learn how to use chopsticks, white man. I already know how to use chopsticks. I've eaten at Asian restaurants and stuff, only a few times, but I taught myself how to do it pretty quick. You could meet Soldier DK. Yeah, that would be so cool. Honestly, I probably could because I have more subscribers than that guy. So, because I have more subscribers than Soldier DK, I could just literally show up and be like, "Yo, here, you want a shout out on my channel of 1,000, over 1,000 subscribers?" And then he'd be like, "Yeah, I'm down with that." And then me and Soldier DK could do a vlog together. I haven't checked his videos in a while. He makes some pretty fun videos, to be honest. Even though he is kind of awkward in the way that he speaks English, I think he's an interesting guy. Oh crap, you could meet Daniel-san. That's true, because Daniel, in his video, he was talking about how he was willing to just meet fans. And I mean, my wife cheated with an American guy. I hope so. I really hope so. But yeah, like he said he was willing to just meet fans because he's trying to make friends now. So if he's consistent about that, I mean, he lives in Osaka. I'd be studying in Osaka. It'd be great. Uh, Mully Bloom says, yeah. See, I'm glad you understand. Liam says Dan's wife is racist. Is she really? I haven't watched specific videos where she sounded racist. She's never seemed racist to me. Um, oh yeah, but it would be so cool. It would be so cool to like make the Japanese Tinder videos that Daniel makes. I cheated on my wife with American Jesus. Yes. Which wife? What was her name? Was her name Noriko or something? I don't even know his wife's name. Uh, the people. Chihiro, that was her name. I got her confused with Hiki-chan for some reason. Noriko is Hiki-chan. Yeah, like I don't know why I got that mixed up. It's the wires crossing in my brain. But yeah, Chihiro. Um, I don't think Daniel-san has ever had another wife. That's the first person he's married. I think honestly, watching Daniel's videos now, it seems like their relationship hasn't had any problems for like a good amount of time by this point. And I'm like, man, I remember watching the videos as they came out where they constantly argued with each other. And now it seems like they're just totally chill. Like they're just going on dates and stuff. Um, they're just they're just hanging out and chilling, and I think a lot of it has to do with the fact that Daniel has turned 30. He's gotten to the point in his life where he can't just run around with sexy fangirls. He's gotten to the point in his life where he wants to settle down and he just wants to live peacefully. And I think that's why he went back to Chihiro and why their relationship has been surprisingly consistent lately. Like they seem to be having fun. They seem to be doing all right. And I, I find it interesting that like they're together after all this stuff. Um, I've never seen his vids, but I always thought he wasn't really married and that it was a meme or something. No, he's done live streams with his wife and stuff. Um, Nice to hear about your education. Yeah, thank you. If you weren't here earlier to hear, basically, my mom agreed to co-sign on a loan to go to school in Japan. So I am 100% guaranteed to go to school now, which is pretty cool. Daniel looks 15 still. He does look 15, to be honest. Which is sort of weird because I'm a manlet as well. You know, I'm 5'9" and a half. And what was it? I weigh like, what was it, 116, 120, something like that. I can't even remember my weight at this point. Um, but like I look pretty young, all things considered. I mean, it's because I am young, but I'm also very small, and I'm very small in comparison to like the average person. And so I feel like I'm gonna have this like forever young effect that Daniel has. Maybe not because I would I would be using like more like mind altering drugs and stuff than Daniel does. So I would probably age a little bit faster because of that. Um, Let me see here. You could leech so hard off of Daniel. I hope so, man. I really hope so. If I could actually get him in a video, that would be great. You consider 5'9" manlet. The way it was explained to me was that manlet is anything under 6 foot. If you're under 6 foot, then you're a manlet. So that's what I was told. I have no idea if that's entirely correct. It's just what I was told. I'm a 5'5" manlet. Get on my level. Wow. Wow, I had no idea. That's a pretty small guy. That's honestly kind of adorable. Um, Small pixie girl ooh woo. I'm not really sure what that's in reference to, but I would like a small pixie girl. That'd be cool. Um, Manlet is anything under 7 foot. LMAO. A Chad is 10 foot tall. Does anyone exist who's 10 foot tall? I know Shaquille O'Neal. Shaquille O'Neal is 7'1", and 7'1" is supposed to be this like insane height that people aren't supposed to get to, but I have no idea who the tallest man is. I remember the tallest woman was like this Chinese girl who like towered over everybody. Actually, I'm gonna look that up. World's tallest man. I bet it's gonna be some Tibetan guy. That's my guess. I don't know why, but uh list of tallest people. United States, Turkey, Ukraine, Finland, Morocco, Iran. Interesting. Libya, France, China. China, this was the person, the world's tallest living Chinese person, Zhong Junkai. I can't speak Chinese. I don't know what that says. Let's see. They are 7 foot 11, but it says the world's tallest person is Robert Waldreau, who was 11. That is wow. Holy cow. 8'11". That is that is unexpectedly tall. Um, if you're under 8 foot, you're not a man. Yes. Searched up Shaquille O'Neal drinking water. Skip to 140 on the first video. He is massive. Who's the guy from the North Korean basketball team? I don't. I didn't even know North Korea had basketball teams. Do they? That is knowledge that I did not previously have. That sounds pretty cool, though. Let me see here. Shaquille O'Neal drinking water. Oh boy, we stand. Uh, Big Poppy in the chat says, "Bruh, how's your evening?" I've been doing absolutely fantastic. I got really good news. I got really good news today that my mom was willing to co-sign on a loan to go study Japanese in Japan, and that took a huge load off of my shoulder because I thought what I was going to have to do was just finance the loan myself, which would be a lot of work and time and money and risk. But she basically told me, yeah, as long as you work after you go to school and everything, I'll basically act as collateral. And so that was really, really cool. Um, so I'm doing great. I was pretty happy when I woke up this morning, surprisingly enough. Um, and so, but that just put me in a much better mood. Um, Glad to hear that, brother. Going to another country is a fantastic experience. I can imagine. Yeah, it's going to be really cool. Okay, I searched up Shaquille O'Neal drinking water. Shaq Chip Challenge. Let me see here. Maybe I should search it up on YouTube because I looked it up and I couldn't find exactly that video, so I'm gonna look it up on YouTube instead. Shaq tries not to make a face while eating spicy wings. Hottest tortilla chip ASMR. Oh, Shaquille O'Neal wears enormous suits. Yeah, I haven't found the specific video. Um, I can keep looking for a little bit. Kid drinks a bottle of water in 1 second. Yeah, I can't find it. Shaq chip challenge. Okay, that is the video. That was the first video that actually came up. So I'm gonna be skipping to what was the time code? 140? 140. Go over here. That's 137, but whatever. I don't know how this is supposed to tell me that he's tall. I can't. It's not showing me how tall he is. Put this in 2x speed. Look at that water bottle. Okay, let me check again. Oh, that is a pretty fucking big small water bottle, I mean. Holy cow. Yeah, now that you put it in those terms, now that you put it in those terms, that does look like a pretty small difference. Wow. That's pretty incredible. It's a normal sized water bottle. Yeah, wow. Yeah, now that you say it like that, that's pretty cool. That is pretty cool. Oh Lord. Um but yeah. I think yeah, I think unless one of you guys in the chat has something to ask me, I think I'm about done here. I said pretty much everything that I needed to say, and I had to repeat myself a bunch of times because new people showed up to the chat. Absolute unit. He really is. But yeah, if you guys have anything to ask really fast, then do it, and then I'll answer those things, and then I'll head out. Big Poppy says, "Good night, man." Yeah, good night. Where will you live? Osaka. I'm going to be living and studying in Osaka. So I actually want to show this, like your own house or oh no, in an apartment. It would basically be an apartment in Osaka. Um, Good night. Liam says good night. Yeah, good night, man. I'm gonna be awake for a while. Osaka, my favorite Azumanga Daioh. Yes. Um, but if you look up apartments in Osaka, there's a lot of them are actually really cheap. Like you get like 200, 300 a month. Um, Now the money that you have to pay the on the deposit is obviously going to be a little bit hefty, but like the monthly cost is so low that it's honestly kind of incredible. So yeah, I'd basically be staying in a studio apartment in Osaka. But yeah, I'll see you all later. Thank you for coming out to the live stream. You even have to pay the landlord gift money. Yeah, that's bye. All right, I'll see you later.